Okay, so hi, I'm really excited to be here for this session and a quick shout out to the GTA Black Women in Tech community for the opportunity. If you know me, then you probably already know that the GTA Black Women in Tech community has been home for me since 2021, when work started with the Voices in the Shadow publication that I had my career journey story featured in. So today I'm here to run this masterclass, and I hope that it will be a good use of your time. And as Danny said, if you've got any questions, you can just put it in the chat, and then I'll get to it at the end. So a little about me. I'm originally from Ghana. That's where I was born. That's where I grew up. I lived there till about 2012 when I moved here for my master's and eventually started working here. I've got a 9 year old who's usually always keeping me busy. Also, a bit of a background. I didn't always think that I was going to end up working in technology. Um, when I was younger, I thought I wanted to be a doctor, just like my family's physician. And then at some point, I thought I wanted to do something in the languages. Um, the closest that I got to that was doing a diploma in French language studies at Alliance Française in Accra. At some point, also, I remember wanting to own a supermarket, something slightly bigger than the corner shop that was opposite my the house that I grew up in Ghana. That didn't happen. I found myself interested in technology when I went to university during my undergrad. I went to university not knowing what I wanted to study, but luckily for me, there were only three courses there at the time. So business administration, management information systems, and computer science. I ended up going with management information systems, MIS, because it was like a hybrid of business administration and computer science. I thought I would play it safe and do that. While doing that, I realized that I was very interested in the technology part of it. So I took more tech modules than business, and here I am. Um, Outside of everything, I like listening to podcasts. I listen to too many, so I will only tell you the one that I listened to this morning, which was the Diary of the CEO podcast, Simon Cowell's episode. I also like watching a lot of Ghanaian African movies. Um, Anyone who visits me will tell you that you would have to watch one with me before you leave. I also listen to a lot of audiobooks on Audible. Today I was listening to She's in Control by Anne-Marie Macedon. So that's a bit about me. So I'm going to cover a few things today. I'll share a bit about how to identify your path. I'll talk about my career journey. I'll talk to you about transitions and transferable skills. And then I'll talk about how to make meaningful connections, just talking about community building, coaching and mentoring, and sharing knowledge and skills. And then I'll talk about how to use continuous learning as a strategy to level up in your career. And then lastly, I'll talk to you about building your personal brand. So identifying your path. Over the years, I've learned that putting in the work to identify what path you want to go on is a fundamental step in embarking on a successful tech career. When it comes to identifying your path, it's important to think about what your strengths are, your interests, and your skills. And once you've done that, you can see how the things that you found out align with potential career paths that you can take. There's so many paths in technology, so I think that this is a really important step that you shouldn't skip. So my tech career journey started somewhere in the year 2009. I'm probably showing my age here. It started with an internship on the Ashesi University campus in Ghana in the computer science department. I worked with the head of the department at the time, I'm just doing some research on health information systems for community health nurses. So I'll talk you through my career path um, from the year 2016. I'm trying to limit it to my tech career in the UK so I can make good use of the time. But if there's anyone here who wants to talk about my career pre moving to the UK, I'll be happy to catch up over a call. So, my career in the UK started in 2016 when I joined American Express on the technology graduate program. So at the time when I joined, we got to do rotations in different teams. So just about 6 months in each team. I did so many rotations, mainly because I was very confused. I didn't know exactly where I wanted to end up, so I just kept trying things. My first role was a Java backend engineer, doing some automation work. So I worked on a very small Scrum team, which was good for me because I feel like my introduction wasn't as daunting as other people had it. So I learned a lot from the person that I worked with. Um, After that, I decided to join another team doing .NET engineering, very similar to the role that I did as a backend engineer, but this time doing .NET and not Java. Then I thought I wanted to try something different. So I went for a non-coding role doing like technical project management. I worked doing lots of research on some of the processes at American Express to find out how we could reduce costs. That went really, really well. Lots of teams here wanted me to do presentations to them just to see how everything went. So I did a presentation to one team. It was a product management team, and I kind of liked the vibe of the team. So I thought maybe I should try product management as well. So I did that. That role was a really interesting one because I got to work with um, other people in the organization, other teams, and also did a bit of interfacing with external companies. So working with co-brands that American Express has. Um, I had had enough of not writing code. So after about 6 months doing product management, I decided to do data engineering. When I worked in Ghana, um, I learned a lot about database administration, data engineering. So this next role that I did was quite, I don't want to say easy, but it wasn't as challenging as I wanted it to be. In 2018, I rolled off of the graduate program and joined another team as a backend Java engineer. It was at a time where the team was on a modernization journey, so moving stuff off the mainframe into the cloud. Greenfield, my team got to pick the languages, the tools that we wanted to work with, which was really good. In 2019, I was nominated for the Every Woman in Technology Award for some work that I did researching healthcare information systems in Ghana. I actually did that for my master's project. And I talked to someone at work about it, and I didn't know that they were going to put me forward for that award. And I won it. So that was really good. I think that was like a big turning point for me in my tech career here in the UK. In 2021, like I mentioned when we started, I had my career journey story featured in the Voices in the Shadow publication. Okay. So my current role, which I started in 2021, is in developer advocacy. So a lot of my work right now is interfacing with developers in American Express and in the wider tech community. At American Express, what my day looks like. We're building some tools for open source. We're also running boot camps for interns and grads and new joiners. I'm not going to bore you with the other awards, but all of the details are there. And I'm sure Danny will share the deck with you so you can have a look. An important thing that I think I need to mention is sharing the work that I was doing and that I am doing on spaces like LinkedIn and Twitter have been really helpful to me, giving me the kind of visibility that I think that I want to be able to inspire other people who look like me to take up roles that they probably think that they won't be good at. Because if you don't try, you'll never know. So, just a piece of advice: if you're working on anything, you should feel confident sharing it. However, you want to do that. So next, I want to talk to you about transitions. A lot of the time when I meet people, one of the questions that I love asking is, how did you get to where you are? And that's not me asking whether they walked or drove or took the bus, but it's me asking, what has your career journey been? I'm always very keen to hear the different paths that people have taken to lead them to where they are. A lot of the time, I'm either blown away by how long people have been on their journey. I've spoken to people who've been like doing technology for over 50 years, or I'm either blown away by how quickly or diverse people's journeys are. So when it comes to transitions, I'm going to talk to you about three main types of transitions. And the first is industry change. So moving from one industry to another. Lately, I've been getting a lot of messages from people on LinkedIn and people that I know personally who are working in like a totally different industry but want to transition to technology and are looking for some guidance from me. In the past, I've been able to mentor many people, but the one that's really notable for me is one person who used to be a customer care professional here at Amex, and she's now working as a quality engineer. I really like that I was able to help her to realize that dream of hers. And the next type of transition that I want to tell you about is role change. So transitioning to a different role with new responsibilities, and this could be in the same industry. So from my journey that I shared, you can see that I've done a lot of that, just switching different roles in technology. The next one is functional change. So shifting from one function to another within the same industry. For example, moving from, let's say, marketing in technology to maybe product management or project management, or maybe data engineering, still in technology. A very important lesson that I've learned while moving through the different roles that I've done and navigating the tech industry is that hard skills can be transferable too. So, question for anyone, you can put it in the chat. When I say transferable skills, what's something that comes to mind? What do you think transferable skills are? And I'm just looking that way because I'm looking at the chat on another device. I'll give it a few seconds and then maybe I'll just tell you anyway. Yep. Sales could be a transferable skills. Yep. Skills learned from mentors and managers. Not bad. So when I say transferable skills, I want you to think about skills that, yep, Derek, skills earned in one industry that appeal to other roles in another. That's just what it is. So skills that you can transfer from one context to another. Most of the time, you find that people overly focus on soft skills when they're thinking about transferable skills, but hard skills can be transferable. Think about a skill like project management. It's a hard skill and it can be exhibited across many roles. It's also important for you to remember any domain expertise that you have or domain knowledge that you have when you're thinking about transitioning. So, how do you identify your skills? So, we're not yet at transferable skills, we're identifying your skills. I heard a very interesting analogy that I've been using a lot these days from an internet buddy of mine, Joel. The analogy that he uses is, let's say you're getting dressed with your girlfriends, you're going out. Um, what do you do if you want to know what you look like? You can look in the mirror and you can tell for yourself. That's self-reflection. So reflect on all of the roles that you've done, and not just like in work, but also at school. Everything that you've done, just try to pinpoint skills that you used for those. That's how you self-reflect. You can also ask your friend that you're going out with how they think you look, and that's seeking feedback. So anybody that you've worked with, whether it's on a school project, whether that's your lecturer, somebody that you've worked with in the company that you work at, somebody that you've worked with volunteering, you can also ask them for feedback on what they think your skills are. And then if you work in corporate, then you probably have a performance evaluation every year. You can look at that and look at some of the things that people say about you, and see what skills that you have. Then when it comes to identifying what skills you have that you can transfer to something else, you can do some more work to pinpoint which of those skills are transferable. So you can identify the transferable skills by doing a lot of exploration. You can do job shadowing just to see, you do job shadowing in the area that you want to move into to see what skills you already have that you can use in that area. You can also get an overview of the area that you want to move into from somebody who's already there. So you can ask them, like, what kind of skills do you use for your job? And they can tell you. You can also analyze job descriptions. That job descriptions are very common. You can find them everywhere. I mean, there's chat GPT now. You can put a prompt in and get a job description for any potential job or role that you want to do, and then you can see what skills you already have that that particular job or area will be looking for. I think that it's also important to learn how to frame your transferable skills. It can be very easy for you to get carried away with all of the skills that you have, but make sure that you're presenting the part of your story that is important to the area that you want to transfer to. You need to learn how to tell your own story the right way so it can be appealing to whoever is hiring on the other side. Now, I want to talk to you about making meaningful connections. I think that creating real life connections through actual conversations is very useful. There was a study that was done, I can't remember by who, that says that 85% of jobs are filled by word of mouth through personal connections. So when it comes to building your tech career connections, you can do that through community building and networking. There's so many tech communities out there. You just have to search where you like getting your information from, whether it's from Instagram or X or LinkedIn. I personally am a part of many communities like GTA Black Women in Tech, Deaf Congress in Ghana. I read lots of newsletters. I'm connected to so many people on LinkedIn. So you can do that. You can attend networking events as well, just to meet new people and just build that community for yourself. Coaching and mentoring is also really important. I want to highlight that you can have mentors for different things. You don't need just one mentor. I have like mentors for technical things. I have mentors for life things. And also mentoring relationships can end. Don't feel like once you've got one mentor, you have to stick with them for life. The important thing is to have a goal for a mentoring relationship before you enter one. And once you've realized that goal, you can either decide to move on to a different mentor or create new goals that you're going to work on with the same mentor. So don't feel like it's a lifelong thing. You could do that, but I find that variety helps a lot, and getting different perspectives from different people is also really useful. You can also build career connections by teaching. It's not always about taking, but I feel like we should also create a habit of giving back. If you've learned something, you should feel confident enough to share that knowledge that you've learned with different people. So it's not always about asking for help, but also asking how you can help. Creating a good network of people that you're connected with gives you access to knowledge, it helps you build credibility. You can also seek out informational chats for areas that you want to know more about. And it's important for you to be genuine and authentic. People can usually tell when you're not being genuine, and that's not good for any relationship or any connection at all. So, using continuous learning as a strategy, you can level up in your career by using continuous learning as a step towards the next thing. So, continuous learning is important because it helps you expand your career opportunities. It also makes you more employable because as you learn, you gain more knowledge and skills. And for example, AI is a big thing now. If you're working in technology and you don't even directly work with AI, at least you should know something about it, just to make you more innovative and creative. It also helps you future proof your career, like no matter what comes. If you've at least got a little idea about it, you can have certain conversations with people that you wouldn't normally do. Also, when it comes to staying relevant and up to date, you can do professional development programs. I know that lots of companies have them. There's also on demand learning. YouTube is my go to when I'm trying to learn anything. There's also platforms like Pluralsight, LinkedIn Learning, O'Reilly. They've got lots of resources there if you want to learn anything. You can also learn from people in your network. A friend of mine, Amber, she's got like a really cool community. She runs sessions every now and then online or in person. So things like that also help. You can seek feedback from people when you're learning just to make sure that you're doing the right thing. So people who are doing roles that you would want to be in, you can get feedback from them on how or where you should go for learning. If you work in corporate, you can also ask your leader for stretch goals. When I started out and I was doing those technical, very coding based roles, I wanted to do more with my people skills. So I asked for projects that would allow me to learn to do that. So now my current job allows me to do it's like a 50-50 thing. I'm not, even though I'm an engineer, I'm not always putting my head down and writing code. Um, Peopling is part of what I do. And also job shadowing, I mentioned that it's important for you to put yourself in a position where you can learn from people who are actually doing the job. So you can find job shadowing opportunities everywhere. Usually on the job boards, you can just filter and find out companies that give you the opportunity to do shadowing with them. Okay, now personal branding. I feel like this can be like a masterclass on its own, but I'll talk to you a little bit about it before we get into the Q&A. So in the tech industry, you'll find that your personal brand is something like your digital fingerprint. It's how you showcase your skills, your experiences, and your unique value proposition to the world. So, in the next few minutes, I'll delve into how you can craft a strong personal brand that will set you apart from other people and also open doors for you. It's important that your personal brand is not just about what you think or what you say it is. It's also about how other people perceive you. So you can get feedback from trusted people about what they think your brand is. Like um you can think that you're one thing, but that might not be how other people would see you. So the perception that other people have with you really matters. When it comes to your unique value proposition, I want you to think about what makes you you, like what makes Maureen Maureen. It's a combination of your skills, your experiences, and the qualities that you have that will set you apart from the next person. So think about the question, why should someone choose me over other people? The answer to that question is what your unique value proposition is. So once you're able to nail down the answer to that, it puts you in a very good place when it comes to showcasing yourself or um, telling people about what you can do. So now, once you've done all of that work, you need to put some time into creating a digital presence for yourself. So think about how you're using tools like Instagram, X, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. Um, Fun fact is, my very first job after university, I got that job on Twitter because I was sharing a lot of what I was working on there. I was asking questions. And then someone reached out to me and said, we like what you're doing. Do you want to come work with us? So that's how I got my first job. Actually, this job at Amex as well, I got on LinkedIn. Someone reached out to me and said, we like the work that you're doing and how you're sharing it. Would you like to come work at Amex? That doesn't mean that they just gave me the job just like that. I went through the process and did the interviews and everything. I've met tech mentors online because of the kinds of content that I'm sharing or the questions that I'm asking there. So that's it with personal branding. I've got a few things that I want to talk about. So a few quotes that I'll share and talk about. So there's nothing permanent except change. So change can either be voluntary or involuntary. The tech industry is evolving. Things are always changing. Even as people, we're always changing. Our interests are changing. We learn new things. Our general circumstances can also change. In 2007, the New York Times predicted that people will change jobs an average of 3 times. That number jumped to 7 by 2010. And by 2015, it had jumped to 10. So I'll tell you a story. A lot of the time when I was a grad, I saw how quickly my career was going, and I thought maybe that was a weakness because there were people that I was working with that had already figured out exactly where they wanted to be. But it wasn't until about 2019 when I started seeing um, all of the changes that I went through as the best part of my career. Um, a leader that I worked with got me to do like a skill stock exercise where I had to write down all of the skills I had picked up along the way. And I realized that I had learned so much. So since then, I've started seeing change, however it comes, as growth and learning. So I've learned to embrace the experiences that I've gone through with all of those roles and not really think about the job title. Embrace your unique journey. Don't compare your journey to someone else's. You're your own person. You know what you can do. You don't have to compare how well you're doing with someone else. You can look at it from a point of inspiration, but just don't beat yourself up if you think that you're not moving as fast as you should be moving. Everybody is on their own journey, and when your time comes, you will figure it out. The next one, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. One of the big things that I've learned is to create a healthy relationship with failure. It's part of everything that we do. You're going to fail at some point. So it's important that you learn how to fail and move quickly from it. Taking all of the things that you learn from that with you so you don't make that same mistake. That's if you make a mistake. But it's important for everyone to learn to have a healthy relationship with failure. I created this career transition plan, 10 steps that I'm not going to go through it, but I'm sure Danny will share the deck with you. And yeah, if there's anything that you want to talk about, we can do that at some point. So yeah, that's it for me.